This painting was stolen, vanished for 2 years, and when it returned, some say it was a fake. And that's just one of the insane stories behind the world's most famous artworks, from hidden messages in The Last Supper to Van Gogh painting during a mental breakdown, from a blood-red sky that inspired the Scream to a protest painting so powerful that Nazis feared it. These masterpieces hold shocking secrets you won't believe. Some became famous because of theft, scandal, and even science, while others changed history forever. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the untold stories behind the most iconic paintings of all time. Welcome to Earth and Beyond. The Mona Lisa and its audacious theft. The Mona Lisa is the most famous painting in the world. But what if I told you that it wasn't always this famous? In fact, it was a daring heist that turned it into the global icon it is today. It was August 21st, 1911, the Louvre in Paris. The museum was preparing to open its doors when a shocking discovery was made. The Mona Lisa was gone. The small portrait had been stolen right off the wall, and no one had any idea who took it. For 2 whole years, the painting was missing. The world was in shock. The French police were desperate, and in one of the most bizarre twists, they even arrested Pablo Picasso as a suspect. Yes, the Picasso was questioned because of his connections to an art smuggler, but he had nothing to do with it. The real thief? A man named Vincenzo Peruggia. Peruggia wasn't a professional criminal. He was just a museum worker who believed the Mona Lisa had been stolen from Italy and belonged back in his home country. So he came up with a bold plan. One morning, he dressed in a white smock, just like the other museum staff. He waited for the right moment, slipped into the gallery, lifted the Mona Lisa off the wall, tucked it under his coat, and walked right out the front door. No alarms, no security stopping him. He just vanished. For 2 years, Peruggia hid the Mona Lisa inside a wooden trunk in his tiny apartment. Then, in 1913, he finally tried to sell it to an art dealer in Florence. Big mistake. The dealer instantly recognized the painting and contacted the authorities. Peruggia was arrested, and the Mona Lisa was returned to the Louvre, now more famous than ever. But some conspiracy theorists believe the painting that came back wasn't the real one. They claim forgers made identical copies while the Mona Lisa was missing, and that the true original is still out there. What do you think? Could the Mona Lisa in the Louvre actually be a fake? Let me know in the comments. The Starry Night and Van Gogh's madness. What if I told you that one of the most famous paintings in history was created inside a mental hospital by an artist battling insanity? In May 1889, Vincent van Gogh admitted himself to the Saint-Paul-de-Moselle asylum in France after suffering a severe breakdown. Just months earlier, he had cut off his own ear in a fit of madness. Isolated from the world, he spent his days painting and his nights staring out of a small window, watching the sky twist and swirl above him. And that's when he created the Starry Night. At first, no one paid much attention to the painting. In fact, Van Gogh himself considered it a failure. But what he didn't realize was that his brushstrokes captured something scientifically extraordinary: the pattern of turbulence. Scientists have studied the Starry Night and discovered that the way Van Gogh painted the swirling sky is mathematically accurate to the way light and fluids move in nature. The same patterns appear in galaxies, hurricanes, and even clouds of cosmic dust in deep space. How could a man suffering from delusions and hallucinations have unknowingly painted one of the most accurate depictions of turbulence in the universe? Some believe his mind saw the world differently. But despite his artistic genius, Van Gogh never knew success in his lifetime. He sold only one painting and lived in extreme poverty. In July 1890, just 1 year after painting the Starry Night, he tragically ended his own life at the age of 37. He died believing he was a failure. Yet today, The Starry Night is one of the most famous and valuable paintings in the world. Prints of it decorate homes, classrooms, and museums across the globe. A painting that once sat unnoticed in an asylum now symbolizes the brilliance of a misunderstood artist. But Van Gogh's story leaves us with one haunting question. Was his madness the price he paid for his genius? If you're loving these hidden stories behind history's greatest masterpieces, make sure to subscribe. We've got even more mind-blowing mysteries coming your way, and you won't want to miss them. The Last Supper and Da Vinci's Secret Code. What if I told you that one of the most famous paintings in history might contain a secret code, hidden by Leonardo da Vinci himself? The Last Supper isn't just a masterpiece, it's a puzzle that has baffled historians for centuries. Painted between 1495 and 1498, it depicts Jesus and his 12 apostles at the moment he reveals that one of them will betray him. But here's the catch. Many believe Da Vinci hid secret messages in the painting. One of the most shocking theories? That Mary Magdalene is actually in the painting. Look at the person seated to Jesus' right. Traditionally, this is believed to be John the Apostle, but many claim that the figure has feminine features, delicate hands, long flowing hair, and a tilted posture that mirrors Jesus. Some believe this suggests a deeper connection between Jesus and Mary Magdalene, a theory made famous by the Da Vinci Code. But it gets even stranger. In 2007, an Italian musician named Giovanni Maria Palla made a startling discovery. He analyzed the painting and found that if you place musical notes along the hands and loaves of bread, they create a haunting melody that had been hidden for over 500 years. Was Da Vinci secretly embedding music into his art? And that's not all. Some believe that Da Vinci left a hidden mathematical message in the painting. The way the apostles are arranged follows the golden ratio, a pattern found in nature, architecture, and even human DNA. Was this just a coincidence, or was Da Vinci, a known mathematician, trying to reveal something deeper about the universe? Even more mysterious is the fact that the Last Supper is slowly disappearing. Da Vinci experimented with an unusual painting technique that didn't last, and today much of the original artwork has faded or been repainted. Entire sections of the painting are gone, and some historians believe we may never know what the original truly looked like. A hidden message, a lost melody, a missing face. Whether you believe the theories or not, one thing is certain. Da Vinci was playing a game with history, and we're still trying to figure it out. The Scream and its apocalyptic inspiration. What if I told you that The Scream wasn't just a painting, it was a real-life nightmare that the artist actually lived through? In 1892, Norwegian artist Edvard Munch was taking a walk near Oslo when something terrifying happened. He described the moment in his diary. "I was walking with two friends. The sun began to set. Suddenly the sky turned blood red. I paused, feeling exhausted, and leaned on a fence. There was blood and tongues of fire above the blue-black fjord. My friends walked on and I stood there trembling with anxiety. I felt a great, infinite scream pass through nature." And that's exactly what he painted. The strange red sky wasn't just in his imagination. Scientists now believe it was caused by the 1883 eruption of Krakatoa, one of the most powerful volcanic eruptions in history. The explosion sent massive amounts of ash into the atmosphere, turning sunsets red across the world for years. Could it be that Munch unknowingly captured the lingering effects of this disaster? But The Scream isn't just about nature. It's about raw human fear. The ghostly figure, the swirling background, the wide, hollow eyes. Munch was painting pure existential dread. His childhood had been filled with illness, death, and tragedy, and many believe the scream was his way of expressing his own anxiety and despair. And if that wasn't eerie enough, the scream has been the target of multiple art heists. In 1994, thieves broke into Norway's National Gallery on the first day of the Winter Olympics and stole the painting in under a minute. They even left behind a note that read, "Thanks for the poor security." It was recovered later that year. But then, in 2004, it was stolen again. Armed robbers stormed the Munch Museum in broad daylight, grabbing the Scream and another painting, Madonna. For 2 years, the artwork was missing, feared lost forever. It was finally recovered in 2006 in a sting operation. So the Scream isn't just a painting, it's a haunting vision of the world, a scientific mystery, and an artwork so powerful that criminals couldn't resist stealing it. Twice. Guernica and Picasso's protest against war. What if I told you that one of the most powerful anti-war paintings in history was so disturbing that Nazis once confronted Picasso about it? In 1937, during the Spanish Civil War, Nazi Germany bombed the town of Guernica, testing their new warplanes. The attack was brutal. Hundreds of civilians were killed, buildings were reduced to rubble, and fires raged for days. When Picasso heard about the massacre, he didn't pick up a weapon, he picked up a paintbrush. The result? Guernica. This massive black and white painting is chaos frozen on canvas, a terrifying mix of twisted bodies, screaming figures, and wild, panicked animals. Every detail is packed with symbolism. The bull, a symbol of brutality, destruction, and unstoppable violence. The horse, a representation of innocent victims suffering in agony. The shattered light bulb, a blend of an eye and an explosion, a twisted version of hope and destruction. Guernica became a global symbol of the horrors of war. It was displayed all over the world to raise awareness. And it worked. The painting was so powerful that when a Nazi officer visited Picasso's studio and saw a photo of it, he sneered, "Did you do this?" Picasso's legendary response? No, you did. For decades, Guernica toured internationally, reminding people of the cost of war. But Picasso refused to let it return to Spain until the country became a democracy. For nearly 40 years, while Spain was under the dictatorship of Francisco Franco, Guernica remained in New York at the Museum of Modern Art. It finally returned to Spain in 1981, after Franco's death. Even today, Guernica remains one of the most haunting anti-war statements ever created. It's a painting that doesn't just tell a story, it forces you to feel the horror of war. The persistence of memory and Dali's melting clocks. What if I told you that one of the most mind-bending paintings in history might have been inspired by melted cheese? Salvador Dali's. The persistence of memory is one of the most famous surrealist paintings ever created. Its melting clocks, eerie landscape, and dreamlike atmosphere have puzzled and fascinated people for decades. But what does it actually mean? Some believe the melting clocks represent time losing all meaning, a reference to Einstein's theory of relativity, which suggests that time isn't fixed, but flexible, changing depending on speed and gravity. But Dali himself had a very different explanation. He claimed the inspiration came from a melting wheel of camembert cheese left in the sun. Yes, one of the most profound artistic representations of time may have started as leftover lunch. But beyond its strange origins, the persistence of memory is packed with deeper meanings. The landscape is based on Dali's home in Catalonia, Spain, but it's deserted, silent, almost lifeless. The strange, soft creature in the center, that's believed to be Dali himself, depicted as a warped, dreamlike figure. The painting is often interpreted as a reflection on time, memory, and the subconscious mind. The melting clocks suggest that in dreams, time becomes meaningless, bending and distorting in ways that don't make sense in the real world. Dali was heavily influenced by Sigmund Freud's theories on dreams, and many believe the persistence of memory represents the way our minds work when we sleep, where past, present, and future can all blur together. Despite its bizarre nature, the painting became one of the most recognizable works in history. It's been referenced in movies, cartoons, and even video games. Dali himself once joked that he was shocked by how famous the painting had become, saying, "I have no idea why people like this painting so much. It's just some clocks melting in the sun." But whatever its true meaning, the persistence of memory has cemented itself as one of the greatest surrealist masterpieces ever. Girl with a Pearl Earring and its Unnamed Muse. What if I told you that one of the most mesmerizing portraits in history hides a mystery that has never been solved? Johannes Vermeer's Girl with a Pearl Earring is often called the Mona Lisa of the North. Her gaze is captivating, her expression almost alive. But here's the thing, nobody knows who she was. Unlike other famous portraits, where we at least have records of the model, this girl appeared out of nowhere and then vanished. Some believe she was Vermeer's daughter, a servant, or even a secret lover. Others argue she never existed at all, that she was a figment of Vermeer's imagination. But why is this painting so different? Most 17th century portraits were of wealthy patrons, sitting stiffly in formal clothing. But Girl with a Pearl Earring feels personal, almost intimate. She isn't posed like royalty. She's turning towards us, as if we caught her in a fleeting moment. The pearl, the soft lighting, the slightly parted lips, it's as if she's about to speak, but never does. And here's something even stranger. Unlike Vermeer's other works, this painting wasn't meant to be a traditional portrait. It's what's called a tronie, a Dutch style of painting that focused more on expression than identity. This means Vermeer may not have cared who she was, only how she looked. But that hasn't stopped historians from searching for answers. Scans of the painting have revealed Vermeer originally painted her with eyelashes and a different headscarf, details that have faded over time. The famous pearl. Some experts believe it's not actually a pearl at all, but rather an illusion of light and shadow. For nearly 200 years, the painting was completely forgotten. It sat gathering dust until 1881, when it was rediscovered at an auction, sold for just $2. Today, it's considered one of the greatest masterpieces in history. But the biggest question remains, who was she? And why did Vermeer paint her this way? Until we find answers, she will remain one of art's greatest unsolved mysteries. And that brings us to the final question. Why do these paintings still capture our imagination centuries later? Which of these hidden stories shocked you the most? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching Earth and Beyond.